Welcome everybody to the July Mental Health First Aid Collaborative Lunch and Learn and Wellness Wednesday. I want to thank all of you for taking the time to join us today. We certainly appreciate it. I know we have a mix of those individuals that have been trained under the project as first aiders. Again, congratulations to all of you for becoming first aiders, as well as and we also have individuals that are with organizations that have hosted trainings as well, or maybe have interest in hosting in the future. So thank you so much. We appreciate very much you being here today. So what we're going to go over today, I just want to share with you a little bit briefly what we're going to go over. July is BIPOC, which is Black, Indigenous People of Color, if you did not know that, Mental Health Awareness Month. Today's topic is going to be focused on community health workers, and we're going to be joined today by one of our instructors, or one of our adult instructors, Ella Thomas, and she's going to kind of share with us her experience in leading community health workers, kind of merging all of these worlds together, not only as her role as an instructor, but also as a leader in community health workers, and particularly serving the BIPOC community. So she's going to share with us some valuable experience and expertise in that area. So we're very excited to have her joining us today. Please, if you do have questions as we're going through today, please feel free to put them in the chat box. We'll be happy to answer what we can, and if not, if we can't answer them today, we'll answer them in the afternoon. We're going to go over a couple of our important upcoming dates, have an opportunity to go over, pick Ella's brain a little bit, ask her some questions, and she can enlighten us with all of her wisdom, which we're always so grateful to have. And then I want to share with you some specific resources that we have for BIPOC resources, as well as then wrap up our time together doing a calming exercise. Because you know what, we're here together, we've already carved out this time, we may as well take advantage and throw in 3 minutes of time for ourselves and practice what we preach in terms of the self-care, right? Very important. All right, so some important dates coming up, just so you're aware. The next Wellness Wednesday, which is what we're doing here today, the virtual Wellness Wednesday, is going to be November 8th from 12 to 1. The link will come out for that. You'll see that in the newsletter, as well as on our Facebook pages, so be on the lookout for that. Typically, we do these meetings every other month, but we're going to be skipping September because, drum roll, everybody do their drum roll, we are going to have our 4th annual summit, and you are all invited and encouraged to come. Registration is actually open, and I think Stacy, if you wouldn't mind throwing that registration in the chat box, if you haven't already done so, that would be fabulous. That is September 8th. It's a Friday from 10 to 3. It's held at the Columbus Zoo, so we tried to pick a location that was central in the state. We had it last year. It's quite wonderful, actually, not only because we have great speakers and a great opportunity to network with professionals and those individuals that have been trained as first aiders throughout our state, but also because the actual venue site overlooks the giraffes and zebras, which is amazing. It's really probably one of the coolest conferences sites I've ever been to. It's a little hard to stay focused at times, to be honest, but there's lunch provided, you get a t-shirt. It really is a great opportunity to network. So please do take advantage of that. Also, which I think if Stacy may have already put in the chat box, but if not, I know he will, is nominations for Instructors of the Year, as well as Host of the Year. So if you're coming here today as somebody who's received their certification as a first aider, you may have had an instructor that you really enjoy learning from. You felt like they were very engaging, very dynamic, very knowledgeable, very impactful in their delivery of the mental health first aid program. And maybe you want to nominate them. We're actually going to we do recognize those outstanding instructors that are with our organization. So we encourage you to nominate those folks. And again, that link is on our Facebook page, as well as we'll get that in the chat box today. And that's for the adult instructor, for a youth instructor, then also a host organization. Again, some of you come here today as host organizations. We have a lot of wonderful collaborations with organizations through Ohio, and we appreciate so much those opportunities to collaborate. And I know we nominate many hosts for this award. Last year's recipient was actually Cleveland Clinic. We did some work in the Glenville community in Cleveland in collaboration with Cleveland. They were the recipients of the host last year. But we do ask for nominations for those host organizations as well, because we want to recognize the hard work that's being done in forwarding mental health first aid throughout the state of Ohio, as well as then an advocate of the year. Is there somebody that is a mover and a shaker in terms of getting mental health first aid moving and permeated through our state? Again, that's why we're here. That's the whole purpose of our collaboration, is to help spread this good news throughout the state of Ohio to all ends and all corners. That really is our mission. So again, we just want to acknowledge that and reward those folks that are doing that. So any questions on that, please, again, reach out. Don't hesitate to reach out for that. But now I'm going to turn it over to our esteemed presenter. Again, Ella Thomas comes to us as one of our adult instructors with a wealth of knowledge, though, as well, and expertise. And I'm going to turn it over to you then, Ella, to introduce yourself and then kind of take it from there.
All right. Thank you so much, Bridget. Thank you, Mental Health First Aid, and everyone's here. Again, I'm Ella Thomas. I'm Director of Education and Development with Healthcare Access Now. I am a mental health first aid instructor. Have my master's in education with a concentration in mental health counseling and human development. Was one of the founders of Ohio Mentoring Group for Community Health Workers, and also sit on a couple advisory boards, which is one is the Ohio Board of Nursing for Community Health Workers, One Source, which is a nonprofit organization here in Cincinnati, and Humanity and Sanity is another nonprofit here in Cincinnati that deals with racial disparities and unification in the community. Next, please. So what things we're going to talk about today are who are community health workers? Where do they work? What collaborations take place? How is this profession ties into mental health first aid, and where are they employed? Next, please. So according to American Public Health Association in 2009, this is the definition of what community health workers do and who they are. If this sounds a little bit familiar, like, hey, that sounds like mental health first aid, just give me a thumbs up. But community health workers are frontline public health workers, are a trusted member of the community, has a usual close understanding of the community they serve. They are a trusted relationship, enables community health workers to serve as a liaison, a link, intermediary between the health and the social services, as community facilitates access to services, improve the quality and the cultural competencies of service delivered. A community health workers also build individuals and community capacity by increasing the health knowledge and self-sufficiency through a range of activities such as outreach, community education, informal counseling, support, and advocacy. Next, please. So trusted member, a trusted individual that shares the same experience as a community they serve. Again, some of our mental health first aid, we have lived experience that our clients serve, that we serve or we come in contact with. This is the connection with mental health first aid and community health workers. An advocate, an educator, navigator, a support the individual need. We change the trajectory of people's lives through what we do as a community health worker. And to add this mental health first aid component to it, it is just phenomenal to me. I just get so excited when I think about the two collaborating. To be that bridge between individuals' experience in the community and the systems of care and the support and the services. We're not doing no diagnosing as community health workers. We are just there to support and to lead the person to their next, or help them with their next, walk with them to their next. What is their next? Whatever they choose, their goals they choose to set for themselves. Again, mental health first aid, I can see that collaboration is doing the same. We have I've been in this space for over 12 years doing the service of community health work, and also doing the mental health first aid. When I came introduced to mental health first aid, I was like, yes, these two need to share. And again, we have a program at Healthcare Access now where we do certification. It's a very robust program. I'm not going to lie. It is a 15-week program, but this is another component that we're adding on to it for the community health workers, because you don't have to have a college degree to serve people. You just need to have the heart and compassion to serve them. Next, please. What capacity do they work? They usually work one-on-one with individuals. They provide support, meeting participants in their home, doctor's office, library, McDonald's. You are in the community, and you're serving the people in the community. I want to share a brief story. I just came across this Friday. No, it was last week, a couple weeks ago. This mom reached out to me, asked, hey, Ella, do you know where my daughter, she's almost due? And she needs some help. So this is the story of Amber. Amber is a young woman, 20 weeks gestation, high risk pregnancy because she had a miscarriage before. She was denied her services because she made $5 over the limit to get benefits. So she had to quit her job because the change of her pregnancy that she was having. She became overwhelmed. She became nervous. She became scared and feeling very defeated. All the signs of setting her up to have another miscarriage or to deliver this baby early. So recently she obtained a community health workers. I reached out to a couple of people that I knew that could serve her, that I think they could serve her, reached out to them, got in contact with the supervisor. So she recently obtained a community health workers. And this community health worker calls her every day, and supporting her through this, through her pregnancy. And so I reached out to Amber's mom. I was like, so, hey, how is she doing now? And she was like, oh my gosh, she feels so much better. She is just so, I hear the change in her voice. She's excited now. She don't feel overwhelmed, and she feels she has the support that she needs. This is why I think the two needs to go. She didn't do no diagnosing. And the community health worker that is serving her, she was like number 1 or number 2 in the state of Ohio to get certified as a community health worker. So she is very well experienced, but she is such a wonderful person. And so she meets with her. Now she can feel like she can carry this baby full term, because she was due and she's due in August. So again, she can carry this baby full term. Next, please. So when does collaboration take place with the participants or the doctor's office, the managed care plans? As soon as possible. As soon as you have someone that you identify that needs services, either support for mental health first aid or community health worker. Again, as soon as possible. It don't need to wait. Don't really think about it. Let the community health worker, let the organization figure out if they don't need that services or not. But according to CDC, loneliness associated with heart disease, diabetes, stroke, depression, and anxiety. Have you heard these things before? I think we even have some films about it at Mental Health First Aid. Next, please. So how does this profession tie into mental health first aid? A lived experience, a trusted member of the community, a trusted relationship, and improve the quality of service for individuals and the community. Again, we know that soon as somebody gets connected with mental health first aid services, that they have a better chance of recovering from their condition that they are experiencing. And that's the same thing as with community health worker. As soon as we get a community health worker, excuse me, assigned to a person that's having some concerns or identifies having concerns, their outcome is so much greater for them, especially dealing with the infant mortality rate that's affecting Ohio. But we also, as Healthcare Access Now, we also work with ER retention. So we have the adult program. We work with courts and corrections as well as not people being offended to keep going back into the system. Next, please. So who employ these community health workers? A lot of community health workers are employed on grants. If I had a magic wand, yeah, every person who has a payroll will have a community health worker on there. But a lot of us are hospitals, doctor's office, FQHCs, which is the Federal Qualified Health Centers, community agencies, managed care plans, and some courts and corrections. So I do want to leave some room for questions and answers, but here is my contact information if you want to get in contact with me to talk about my certification program or the certification program we do have college credits attached to it. So we have 9 credits from UC College of Medicine and from Chatfield College, and that is evolving as well. We're having more added on. We are doing some collaboration with Mental Health First Aid through Jessica, who I've been blowing her phone up. It's like, how can we get this done? We need to get this done. How can we bring these two together? But yeah, if you want to know more about the Community Health Worker for the certification program that I am over, please reach out to me. Neighbors, sisters, cousins, family, friends, if you think they will be a good candidate for community health workers, yes. Again, my program is a very robust program. It's not a fly by night. I have college credits attached to it. And this, again, my whole goal of having that college credit attached, because we know student loans are crazy, but how can you get in there and eliminate some of your electives? And if you can have certificates that can add on to your program or to your career path, that would be fantastic. Next, please. I think that should be it. Yep. Any questions?
Thank you, Ella, very much. I'm going to actually start I have a couple questions myself. Thank you. So I'll get us started on the questions. How does this differ, I guess, from maybe funding structure and preparation structure from peer recovery support specialists? Because I know that's something that we talk about in our training. How is a community health worker different than a peer recovery support specialist?
They all line up to be the same.
Okay.
Because it's that lived experience that people have usually from peer recovery support. And again, when you're walking with people, and that's one thing about social services programs, they kind of overlap the services. Community health workers have been around since the 1950s. People didn't know that. So they've been around for a very long time. And it really, because you have live experience, that's where they match up, where they walk with people to their next. That's as well as too. So that's how they are basically the same, but people use their different terms with
Okay.
them
Okay.
to change it. Mhm.
Okay, good. And it looks like we have another question from Janet in the chat box here. When might a mental health first aider refer someone to a community health worker as opposed to another professional?
It depends on what the need is.
Mhm.
So if there's someone, you come across somebody who don't have a medical home, and they need a medical home, refer them to a community health workers. That's one of the things we do. We work with people getting them a medical home. We'll walk with them to show them the difference of if they don't have insurance, we will help them get that insurance that they would need.
Mhm. That's good. So they can, I appreciate that. That's good clarification because so that they can be a good starting point, even for people that don't have insurance.
Mhm.
They can be a starting point. Now, what counties, so you are in the Cincinnati area, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you've got a lot of great folks down there. Do you have that are trained under you? How about for the rest of the state? Where do we find community health workers? Where
Yeah.
would
So
they find?
yeah. So the good news is that I'm certified throughout the state of Ohio.
Okay.
So I can certify anybody throughout the state of Ohio because we are professional body who holds our certification is Ohio Board of Nursing. So
Okay.
that's where we sit under. Anyone I have taught from Summit County down to over to Montgomery County and all in between.
Okay.
So yeah, they can reach out to me, and usually those federally qualified health centers, the public health departments and community agencies is usually what holds the community health workers. I think in Summit County, it might have been the Community Action Agency has some community health workers up there. And I can't think of the big healthcare organization up there that had community health workers as well.
Do you have a list somewhere of where people might find them, like throughout the state of Ohio? Like if you're in.
Yeah, I can provide, where those and so every hub, like I'm a Southwest hub of Ohio.
Mhm.
There's hubs in I believe at Cleveland that covers down to Akron. I think Akron has its own hub. I know they was developing their own hub as well. So a hub is usually a organization that has other organizations that work with them to resolve or eradicate the situation, the health situations that's taking place in that county.
Mhm.
But I
Okay.
can't provide you with a list of the other centers. Like me, if I don't write it down, Bridget, it will go right out my head.
Glad I'm not the only one.
Right. I will write it down, send
I
Bridget the
appreciate it.
list.
Yeah, and then I can send it out to everybody too that's on the call today. Because I think it sounds like a fabulous resource. And I know if we can get our hands on it, then much more likely to be able to refer people then to that service, to be able to get that service and get that connection made. So very much appreciate that. Any other questions? Anybody has? So we had another one so we got a couple here in the chat box. Greta is asking, where are the certification classes held?
On the certifications classes, so it's kind of a twofold, depending on where you live. We just brought back the certification in if you live 50 miles out, we have an online information. We have online session that they can join. If you live within that 50-mile radius, you come in person. So it's a blended course as well. We teach it 3 times a year. So we teach it in the spring, which is starts in January. We have a summer session that starts in May, and then we have a fall session that starts in August. And we have graduation twice a year. We have it in the spring and we have in the summer, I have it in the fall as well. So a winter graduation and a summer graduation. Again, my information you can get on, and I probably should have put this on here, and I can put it in the chat and it will take you right to the link, www.healthcareaccessnow.org. And it will take you right to the link for the community health workers, and you can see what take place. We will do a special cohort if we have 10 or more. We will do a special session for that cohort if needed to be. We have done that. Actually, when I went up to Akron, they had a cohort of 12. And so I went up there it was a very accelerated program, and I was up there for 2.5 weeks. And so we met every day, 8 hours a day, to do their certification.
That's great. Wonderful. Thank you. So you have virtual offerings as well as in person then?
Yes. And I
Awesome.
see that Health Pack Ohio is on here as well. They also do have a community health worker certification program. Dr. Tanika Price is over that program, and she teaches that program, and she's out of the Columbus area.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. We have
Yes.
another question too, I'm seeing from Deidre, regarding, I think, specific resources to Trumbull County. And I think looking for, kind of getting a youth engaged in services that's maybe resistant to services. And I will kind of starting with this, I would say a great place to start in that case is with the pediatrician. Getting that conversation started with the pediatrician if there's resistant to mental health services. But Ella, do you have any services in particular that you're aware of in Trumbull County or anybody else?
So where is Trumbull County? What is that? North, south? Where is that?
That I don't know.
It'd be north. It would be the other side of Akron, 45 minutes hour to from Akron.
Gotcha.
Okay. So you want to get help, get Social Security, I'm gonna pay you.
No, he already gets that. And I'm the payee. I mean, I went through the mental health first aider because I deal with my great nephew that I know that has mental health problems, but he does not. I don't know. He's in denial.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, Deidre, what I probably will do is probably, if you want to share with me your email, I can chat with you after, just because I think it might be a little bit more specific. But I can definitely do that. If you want to put your email in the chat box, you can send it to me privately.
Okay.
If that'll work, yeah. I can definitely talk with you about that. Yeah, because I think that's, I appreciate you bringing that up because it's definitely a reality. People don't always want our services. As we say in our class, we get our invisible superhero capes that say we're a mental health first aider and we want to go help. And then people don't always want the help, right? They're not necessarily in that place where they're ready for it. So what do we do? So again, we definitely want to talk about that and be honest about that sometimes. So yeah, good. Thank you for asking that question. Anita has another question too. What is the cost of the certification?
Yeah, so what is, and thank you for that. So the cost of the program is $3,600 right now. And so we have grants available, scholarships available for individuals who's interested in coming through our program. And actually, I think we probably have 90. We just got awarded another grant to get community health workers certified throughout Ohio. And so that is available to to us. Yes, congratulations. I'm so excited. I am so excited. So now I need to fill the classes, Janet, so I can spend this money and they can keep giving us money. But the Bureau of Labor and Statistics stated that the community health worker profession will increase by 19% in 2026. If I have my way to it, so to me, that's a challenge. I want to take it to 26% in the workforce development by 2026. So I want to get more people certified as community health workers as possible, especially when you have a heart to serve and to see people to their next, whatever that next is. So we can set up the program. I don't travel as much as I used to for the program. Like I had the ability to go to Akron for 2.5 weeks to get them, ready for certification. I don't have that ability to do that now, but hopefully, I will in the future. But right now we have a hybrid course that can take place, in which the hybrid courses, again, we talk about how to show up on camera, how to be a good participant like you would in the class. So that's not doing other things around. You're concentrating in class, just like for mental health first aid. When you're doing the blended course, you have to be on camera, you have to participate. And you want to do 900 other things and still saying you're in class, or I'm listening, I'm multitasking. No, you need to concentrate, because if you're doing it and when you on in class, you're going to be doing it with a client, and that is unacceptable to me.
That's really important. What did you, I missed, I apologize. I was writing a bunch of things down. I'm taking notes feverishly. What did you say that the cost was, Ella?
It's 3,600.
3,600. Okay. And then do you find that, talking about, earning a livable wage, I assume most of the positions are covered under grants. Then once the folks get their certifications, they get their job postings. What do you see as like an average hourly salary, if you will?
I think their salaries should be nothing less than 40,000 a year.
Okay. And that's about what you're seeing.
But what we're seeing, it ranges from 35, 30 to, I think the lowest I've seen was 33.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, I think, they should be around 40,000 a year.
Okay.
And I see where somebody put in that program, the fees different from each program. Yes, they do. Fees are different from other courses as well. But one thing that I can say for healthcare access now, we do have college credit attached to ours. And for that to be a community program that's not attached to any colleges, to have that, so people to come out with some college credit from our program is exciting.
Yeah. That's great to see. Any other questions? Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize. Some technical difficulties coming in.
Okay.
I'm in the Tuscarawas County area, which sits on the opposite side of Akron, and it's down here. It's pretty much lacking a lot. A lot of people don't. This area is just lacking, point blank. So I was just asking if would you do a class down this way, or is that that's because you're outside of?
No,
would there be a class down this way, or would it?
Yeah, for my program, I can teach throughout Ohio. Long as you're in Ohio, I can teach. Now we have had other people that want to come from California, New Jersey. I don't know about those
No.
states. I'm not certified in those states yet, but in Ohio, you in Ohio, you can come to my program. Absolutely. Or you can go through Ohio Impact as well. Again, I have funding for my program. If you want to come through, I can do your sessions virtual. So that wouldn't be no problem. But again, you know, showing up and being on camera, participating is the key to staying not and I know you might have to stand up and stretch or things of that nature. Yeah, that's fine. Sitting in front of a Zoom camera all day, every day is hard. And then we will have to get a and I have worked with some nurses, contract nurses, that will come up and sign you off on blood pressures. When you come to my program, you're certified as can do blood pressures as well. So we teach that as well. And again, you have we get you ready for certification. So depending on how many people in your county that you think will want to be certified as community health workers that will do well, we push certification. We don't want anybody to get finished the program and don't get certified. We push certification. We want you to get certified as a community health worker. And so that again, our biggest challenge is when we do virtual is people want to cook, they want to clean, they want to have conversation with other people in the background. And that is unacceptable. It's like you should be in class like you are with mental health first aid.
Phoebe, I think that's a great, I appreciate so much, talking about this service in Tuscarawas County. I grew up in East Canton, so very familiar with Tuscarawas County. And the fact that there's not enough providers, right? We know about Tuscarawas County and many rural counties, there's not enough providers. And it's difficult for people necessarily to get to trainings like this. So this is a great opportunity, to train the people that are already there. And to train them virtually to be able to reach out into the community then, if there's not the professional providers already there in those rural communities like this, this is a great service. This is a great opportunity. So I think this is a great idea, Phoebe. I appreciate you bringing that, asking that question. Because I know that area, well also, so that would be great.
Phoebe, reach out to me. Most definitely we can talk about setting up a virtual cohort for you all. I'm not opposed to doing that. Again, I have dollars that I need to spend. So let me know. Anyone from your church, let them come. I'm really trying to push the faith-based community to get those involved as well.
Okay, definitely. Another quick question, there is a lack down in this community because we're royal. I mean, but it's a rural community. But the thing is, it's if you need any assistance or anything like in this nature, you have to dig for yourself, and people don't do that anymore. So even like this right here, the information I found on this mental health was through Facebook, so like there's just not a lot of opportunities and presented in front of your face like there is in Akron and Canton and that area, because we fall down below them, and it's just really, it's not, it's just not. So, I mean, even if I get some information where I can put some flyers out and, drop off some places that are local that somebody would entertain the course, because we need them down here.
Yeah, and I know and there's another newsletter that I receive that talks about the rural counties, And they also, it's push to get community health workers in those rural areas.
Okay.
And so I will be more than happy to share that information with you as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have my email address there. Please reach out to me. I would love to have a cohort, and I think someone put in there Cambridge as well. Please reach out to me as well,
Okay.
and we can see how we can get a, if we have 5 people from your area and 5 people from the Cambridge area, that's a cohort right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could put them together.
Yeah, we can pull them together. I want people certified as community health workers in Ohio. I want this to be a game changer and also a career path for people as well.
Now you said the next session would be, your next session would be August then, right?
Yeah, so we have a class that starts in August the 28th.
Okay.
And my program coordinator, she's like my right brain. So she's not here today, but it's August the 28th and it goes through December. And so we have done virtual graduation, but the in-person graduation is very phenomenal. I love our graduations. And so we did do a virtual graduation. We did a Hispanic coalition in Franklin County, such a Columbus area. But again, we would love to have you in person to come down to the graduation. We did that again, press somebody from Akron to come down to the graduation, and the bond and the connection that you make through the classes that I teach is, I can't even put words to it, because you're making lifelong connections. And I have the privilege of doing once a month, the 4th Wednesday of the month, of hub development sessions that, you know, my students are most definitely willing to, they can come into as well. And you can see the other community health workers in the area that are doing the work, and the resources they can pull from. You could pull from them and they could pull from you. And then just networking.
Networking.
Yeah, so you won't feel like you all alone doing the work. And I do not want no one to feel like they're alone doing the work. Either from the mental health first aid side, you know, we got Jessica, we got Bridget, we got Janet, Stacy. We can reach out to them for sure, and they will give you the support. But for the community health worker certification and the mental health piece, absolutely, you have me, and you will be surprised of the other people that's probably close around you that's doing the work that you all don't know about each other.
Right.
Yes, the class does starts August the 28th and it goes through December the 10th. And because we live in Ohio, the seasons change every 15 minutes. We don't know what the weather's gonna be like, but we want hopefully we can do an in-person graduation and to participate in. Again, it's a 15-week program. It's a robust program. And I can't, you know, I'm sorry, not sorry for it, but it will be beneficial to you to come through the program.
And Ella, if people, one of the questions came in the chat box, if somebody wants to sign up for the August class, then they go to healthcareaccessnow.com or .org and they can sign up right there.
Yes.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much, Ella, for sharing this with us. We appreciate so much you doing that. And if anybody has any additional questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Reach out again. You've got Ella's email. You have all of our emails information as well. But please do reach out if you have any questions. But we're so grateful that you shared that with us today. I think it really does highlight, you know, that importance of the need to empower everybody to do something. Again, and that's really what mental health first aid is all about. That's really what being a community healthcare worker is all about. All right, if there's not enough professional, folks, the psychiatrists, the psychologists, the counselors, the social workers, if we know that the numbers aren't there to meet the need, okay, then what do we got to do? We need to do it ourselves, right? I think that's essentially kind of what has always been my takeaway from mental health first aid, that we need to do it ourselves alongside those folks, where it's not taking away, it's working alongside what's there. And it's saying, I can do something. I can't take it away. I can't make it all better. I can't fix everything, but I can do something. I can do something in my community. I can do something in my neighborhood. I can do something in my family. And I think, again, that's what's so important to remember. It's so important to remember our role in all of this and the power that we hold by doing, getting things like becoming certified in mental health first aid and as a community healthcare worker. So thank you so much, Ella, for sharing that resource with us as well. Yeah, so grateful for all the work that you're doing too in this area. I want to share with you in our last few minutes that we have together. I want to share with you our resource list. Just in the spirit of sharing resources, this is actually a list that hopefully is familiar to you. This is the one that you should have received during your mental health first aid training, but I want to revisit it. Maybe it's blowing a little bit of dust off for some of you, but I want to just kind of remind you some of the great information that's in there. One in particular, and let me see if I can make this a little bit larger. It's a little bit small. There we go. If you scroll down, you're going to see that. And again, not to make everybody car sick, or seasick going through this really quickly. But the beginning part of your list are the crisis numbers. As you scroll down through, you're going to get more specific, community-specific resources. So we have resources specific to those folks, faith-based communities, men. Those resources that are specific to men. One of you mentioned that you work in the construction industry, which is largely dominated male, male employees. So there's listing of resources specific to men, which might be of interest if you've not seen that. And one of the other ones that I just want to highlight again today is the section on BIPOC, Black, Latinx, Asian, immigrant, LGBTQ. Again, we have this listing of marginalized resources for marginalized communities that start on page 6. So as you're kind of scrolling down through, you can find these resources. Again, I'm trying I don't want to scroll too fast to make people car sick. I always get sick when I go through these too quickly. All right, so again, these are sites that have been vetted. So again, if you're looking for resources to share with individuals, for yourself or for others, these are sites that have been vetted. They're legit. They're up to date and appropriate to share with others. So it's a nice resource to be mindful of. Any other resources any BIPOC resources that you guys are aware of that you would want to share today? Because I think, again, we like to continue to build this list. Anybody have any other ones that are not on here? Anybody? No. Right. Again, if you
Bridget, somebody said they did. Rebecca, she said give her a minute. She has one.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, please do share in the chat. Because again, I think this time that we spend together is a great opportunity to network. So thank you. minorityhealth.hhs.gov. Again, anything any resources we can share with one another. We always say, there's not enough out there. There's not enough help. There's little nuggets out there. We just need to make sure those little nuggets are shared, and we need to make sure that people know what is out there. Don't let them just sit unused, right? It's good. Thank you. We've got another file here. Thank you, Rebecca, very much. And keep them coming as you guys come. If you have other ones, lgbtqhealtheducation.org. Thank you very much. All right, so again, I just want to reiterate, this is the list you should have received. If you haven't, again, you've got the link now. And when I send out the, we'll make sure that this link gets sent back out in any follow-up to today's meeting also, so that everybody has that. The last thing I want to do together is just to go over then, just do a little relaxation exercise with everybody. Again, as I mentioned, this is in this list already, so it's under self-help apps. So if you scroll down to self-help apps and you go to the virtual calming room. So if you click right on this link, and actually I'm going to stop share and pull it back up again because I think sometimes it doesn't, I can't have more than one thing up at a time. There we go. Has everybody seen the virtual calming room? No. It doesn't say virtual calming room?
No.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know.
Oh, yeah, we see it. No, we see
You
it.
do see it. You do see it. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it says that, yeah.
Excellent. The beauty of technology, huh? All right, there we go. Back to it. All right, so as you scroll through these pages, what you're going to find are links to different links to more links, but they're really nice links. And they're links that you can use for, let's say you want to do something on a guided meditation. You click on guided meditation, and these are for people of all ages. So if you work with youth in particular, you're going to see some that obviously the more colorful ones, the more fun ones are for youth. If they're boring colors are for adults. That's kind of how I always discern the two. But some of these are for classrooms, some of these are for any age group across the lifespan. And then we've got some for visual relaxation. Again, the links are all embedded within this resource. We've got yoga, the live animal camera. So these actually link into the zoos where you can look at the animals and just watch them. Again, if you're at work and you just need kind of that quick little getaway kind of escape for just 5 minutes, these are here, which is really nice. Again, the audio sound and music clips are embedded into this. But going back to, let's do some mindful breathing. Again, I just want to walk through. This is from the Calm app, CALM. Again, this is an app you can download. Let's just pull this up. If everybody wants to just kind of, I'm going to pause this for just a minute. I think this is less than a minute, but I want to enlarge this and I want to invite you to do this together. Again, you can blacken out your screen if you'd like to, or you can keep it on, but I invite you to follow along. Again, you've taken this time, carved it out of your day. Let's use this time to take a moment to take care of ourselves as well. Practice some of that self-care. So you really just are going to follow the model that you see in the directions on the video. All right. Good. Thank you for walking through that with me. And then we get to walk through it again. Let's see here. Sorry about that. All right. So again, I do encourage you to revisit that resource list if you have not. It is a wealth of information. And again, it's one of those small things we can do to share and get that information out to other people. It's one of those small things we can do as a mental health first aiders. And it's actually not a small thing, it's a large thing we can do that does in fact make a difference. Anybody have any questions? today, and you're welcome, Janet. Anybody have any questions? Right. Well, I thank you all so much for coming today, and thank you to Ella again for sharing your wealth of information. And we do hope to see all of you at the summit in September, September 8th. So with the giraffes and the zebras. So everybody take care, be well. Everybody have a wonderful afternoon.